The pressure of the game had always sent a charge through him, and he gladly welcomed it. Verdell's earlier foul had put the ball in play on the offensive side of the court, and unfortunately at a disadvantage for his team. Verdell knew he had little chance of stopping the ball, but that didn't mean he wasn't going to make them fight for it, though. Waving his hands wildly in front of Teddy's face, who was DJ's obvious choice since that was his go-to guy on the out-of-bounds play, Verdell made the mistake of keeping his back to the ball for 2 seconds too long. No sooner than DJ tossed in the ball, Dusty Hawkins came out of nowhere through the crowd of defenders to catch the inbound pass. Dusty quickly threw the ball back to DJ, who went in for a left-hand finger roll layup that would have been butter if the ball would have found the hoop instead of circling the rim. Finally catching up to the play, Verdell blew out a breath of relief for the missed shot and went in for the rebound at the same time as DJ and 2 other Yellow Jackets. They all jumped once, twice, and the third time DJ's elbow found its way into the soft space below Verdell's diaphragm right before the ball finally fell off the side of the hoop. Verdell bit down on his mouthguard in pain and tried to shake off the blow, but that was before DJ came down with the ball swinging his elbows, catching the already unstable Verdell with another sharp hit to the ribcage, making him gasp for air before he fell onto the court and slid out of bounds. This game was going to be the last one of the season, the last one of his high school career, and Verdell couldn't go out like this and let his cousin get away with his bullshit. Family or not, this rivalry had gone on long enough, even if the ref didn't call the foul. As boys, when their drunken fathers pit them against each other for gambling debts and simple bets, Verdell could remember the games turning into boxing matches because neither he nor DJ could stand to disappoint their father. When Verdell would come in the house with his face scarred and bruised, his mother would get a hot rag and press it to his face. She would tell him in a voice as sweet as sugar, "You boys are just different sides of the same coin that won't spend on nothing." Even though it had already been 8 years since his mother died, Verdell remembered the saying, but still didn't know what she meant by it. His mother could never understand why his father and his uncle had to drag their children into their dick-measuring matches. From the time they were old enough to stand to pee, everything between he and DJ had been a battle. Being the same age, similar to their fathers, didn't make it any better. When puberty broke out, it was who had the most hair down there, and whose skin complexion was smoother than chocolate instead of pickled like cucumbers. As they grew up, it turned into whose hair had more waves than the ocean, and whose pecker could pee the farthest. It was always something. Basketball was the first thing that they seemed to be evenly matched at because it required pure talent, and Verdell had plenty of talent. His Uncle Dorian and his father had fallen out a long time ago because Uncle Dorian had to remind them all that he was a self-made man while his dad, Verdell Sr., was a pushover who hauled other people's garbage. Dorian Jr. must have soaked that shit in after all these years, and Verdell was feeling very tempted to knock his ass off that pedestal. The loud boos and jeers from the fans resounded like a buzzing hive, and right about now he was feeling the sting. Verdell shook his head in an attempt to bring everything back into focus. The pressure of their possible loss angered and embarrassed him. Verdell's face flushed as he attempted several times to pick up on his wrists to stand and get back in the game.